let's use our operation maintenance model and try to identify maintenance data groups, maintenance data categories. And for this reason, we are going to follow next logic. We are going to answer next question. Question number 1. We need to understand what we have. Number 2, how we are using. Number 3, do we have some problems? And number 4, it's all about sources. Actually, sources covering all about items. So let's start from question number 1. What we have? As we said, aircraft is available or aircraft is not available. What does it mean for us? It means that we need to collect information about aircraft. As we can see, we have engines installed on this aircraft. We need information about engines. Next, so we have aircraft. What we are doing? We are flying. We have flight hours, flight cycles. So we need to collect information about aircraft and engine utilization. Next, I think it is clear from our maintenance model. We can have PIREP, MIREPs. Means that we need information about PIREP, MIREP. Next, we need to answer question, do we have delay cancellations? If answer is yes, by all means, we need information about machine interruption ground. Next, we need to answer question, do we have in-flight shutdown, ground turnbacks, and turnbacks? If answer is yes, by all means, we need information about flight interruptions. Next, we need to answer question, do we have removals after all these PIREP, MIREPs? If yes, then we need information about removed parts. Next, we need to answer question, how long it took us to return this aircraft to service. It's all about out of service. And last but not least, it is scheduled maintenance group, scheduled maintenance categories. Let me explain what does it mean. I'm gonna use routine maintenance. So maintenance is doing maintenance task, right? Let's say we have 100-hour AC generator checks, and we have findings. It means that by all means, we need to include these findings from our scheduled maintenance, right, from our 100-hour checks, in our reliability system, reliability program, reliability report. So findings should be there by all means. Now, you can ask question, what about the rest items? And I'm gonna use MEL to explain what about the rest items. And I'm gonna use examples about, we had this engine high vibration, excuse me. So we have PIREPs, right? And pilot tells us that we had engine high vibration. Mechanic is doing troubleshooting, found out that we need to replace engine vibration sensor, but we don't have time. Mechanic checks MEL, item is MELable, LRU is MELable, and what we are doing, we are applying MEL. Now, what does it mean for our groups, from our categories? For our categories, it means that since all these started from PIREP, I think it is clear, it is logical to include our MEL item in PIREP, MIREP categories, but PIREP, MIREP groups. This is scenario number 1. Now, scenario number 2. Let's say our experience or even government, right, tells us, dear ABC Airlines, we need to track, so we would like to see, to track your MEL items. What does it mean? It means that we need to create standalone MEL groups with its own items. Okay, this is what about the rest items. Now, talking about the items, I would like to show you some items for some groups. And for this reason, let's move to the next slide. And definitely, we are going to start from aircraft information. What items we need to collect? Number 1, aircraft manufacturer serial number, aircraft registration, date of manufacturing, date of delivery, engine information, etc., etc. Next, aircraft utilization. Again, aircraft manufacturer serial number, date, flight hours, flight cycles, daily utilization, monthly utilization, aircraft total flight hour, flight cycles, engine flight hour, flight cycles, etc., etc. Next, IREP, MyREP, AREP. Again, MSN number, date, flight number, ATA number, problem reported, corrective action, schedule time, takeoff landing, actual time, takeoff landing, etc., etc. Next, information about delays, cancellations. Again, MSN number, date, flight number, ATA number, problem reported, corrective actions, delay, yes, no. If delay answer was yes, definitely we need delay time, information about cancellations, etc., etc. Next, flight interruptions. Again, MSN number, date, flight number, ATA number, problem reported, corrective actions, in-flight shutdown, yes, no, diversion, yes, no, ground turn-back, yes, no. I think it is clear, right? We need all these items. By the way, we had already discussion in when we discussed flight interruptions, right? And I'm not repeating here all the flight interruption items, but it is clear that we need to include all these items in these groups. Time, etc., etc. Next, do we have part removals? The answer is yes. Again, aircraft MSN number, removal date, flight number, ATA number, reason for removal, engine high vibration, part number, part serial number, part description, engine vibration sensor, information about engine. This is by all means, we need this information, especially if part was removed from engine. This information is, as I said, mandatory if part was removed from engine, etc., etc. Next, we need to answer a question. How long it took us to return this aircraft to service? 5 minutes or 5 hours? Again, aircraft MSN number, flight number, ATA, out of service reason, out of service date, out of service time, return to service date, return to service time, etc., etc. Now, all these items here, all these groups, right, it's very flexible. Depends actually on our experience and the aviation authority's requirement. For example, we can combine, let's say, mission interruption ground, mission interruption flight. We can combine it. Or we can take some items, let's say PIREP, MyREPs, right? Schedule time, takeoff, landing, actual time, takeoff, landing, and include it in mission interruption ground group. And from processing perspective, I think it makes sense, right? Since we are calculating here delay time, right? It makes sense that to include the schedule, actual takeoff, landings under mission interruption ground. As I said, it's very flexible and depends on your experience and definitely aviation authorities' requirements. Another interesting subject I would like to bring to your attention here is fleet operation summary. As a matter of fact, we already covered fleet operation summary when we discussed templates, and we will cover in our reliability report examples. When we discuss our reliability report examples, this is next chapter. But before we move forward here now, right, I would like to remind you why we need the fleet operation summary. So we would like to see, we would like to understand, we would like to have, we need to have clear picture in a compact, in brief manner, information about our business model, operation, maintenance model, experience, from technical perspective per given time period. And as we can see from our maintenance data collection system, we have a lot of information. And the question is here, what information we need to take from our selected data, from our collected data, and use it in our fleet operation summary. And to answer this question, let's move to the next slide and see. Let's see some key items. And definitely, we're gonna follow same logic, and we're gonna use same group, same categories. So what we have? Number of aircraft in fleet. Let's say we have 10 aircraft. Number of aircraft in service. Let's say in December, we have one aircraft is in hangar. We are doing some C check or D checks, whatever. So now we have 9 in service. Next, how we are using. Number of operating days. How many days we have in December? Calendar days, 31. How many days we had operated? 20, 25, 15, 10. We need this information. Total aircraft utilization. Let's say average flight hours per aircraft, 300. 9 aircraft, 2,700 flight hours. Again, all these numbers are just examples, right? Just to have idea what we need. Okay, just simple examples. Average daily utilization per aircraft. We need this information. It was 5 hours, 12 hours, or 15 hours. Average flight duration. Again, we need all this information. It is 12 hours, 5 hours, or 45 minutes. By all means, we need this information. Next, do we have some problems? Oh, after all these 9 aircraft in service with 2,700 flight hours, let's say we have 100 problems reported. Oh, by the way, how many delay cancellations we had? Let's say 15 delays, 5 cancellations. Oh, by the way, how many flight interruptions we had? Let's say engine in-flight shutdowns, 2, ground turnbacks, 5, and turnbacks, 1. Again, just example. What about the sources? PIREP, MIREP, AREP, so totally 100, right? Let's say 100 PIREP we had 30, MIREP 50, AREP 20. Again, example. How many parts we removed? Let's say 30. Since all these we are discussing here, it's all about safety, and then as we said, no engine, no flight, we need information about engine. And definitely the number one information is engine in-flight shutdown. So as we said, we have 2. How many engine unscheduled unscheduled removals we have? Let's say in both cases we remove this engine. Again, this item is very flexible, okay? And it depends on our experience and definitely aviation authorities' requirements. Let's say aviation authority is telling us, you know what, we need also engine shop visit, or going back to our example, we need information about MEL. Again, this is very minimum information, just repeating here. Please, 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 we need to check experience, and definitely we need to check our local aviation authorities' requirements. Now let's move to the next slide, and let's discuss metrics, formulas, and examples that we are going to use in our reliability system reliability program.